welcome everybody to another episode of Unscripted on Fox 13. Thanks to all the streamers joining us at fox13news.com as well as on the Fox Local app. We have quite a treat tonight. We are joined by a man who could only be described as a legend in the running world, Meb Keflezighi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Haley.
Now, you have quite the resume, so just to go through it, you're the only marathoner who has won an Olympic medal, the New York City Marathon, and the Boston Marathon, and you're just an all-around great guy, and a fellow Tampanian at that.
Well, thanks for that wonderful introduction, but it all started with 1 mile at a time when I was in 7th grade, but what a great honor to be able to be here with you and to be able to win a medal for our country and win at the Boston Marathon the year after the bombing, and then also win the New York in 2009. And you know, marathon is metaphor for life, and it's been spread out my career, but at the end of the day, I feel very fortunate to have those accolades.
Yeah, you're so right about the marathon, though, because just because you've done one, 26.2, doesn't mean you've done them all, you've experienced them all. They're all different, whether it's the course, the day, how you feel when you wake up. Every single one is a whole different story, and you've experienced a lot of them. 26.
I have experienced 26 of them, but my first one was probably the most memorable one because I hated it. I never wanted another marathon. I was just in torture pain. But at the end of the day, even my mom and my dad were there to watch me run, and they loved seeing me run the 5K and 10Ks. But when the marathon, I just struggled coming in. I had a good day in terms of time, but the experience was just disastrous. I hated it, and I thought this was going to be my first and my last marathon. I did say that, but fortunately, I did not give up, and I had another marathon that made me feel like, oh, this can be fun. But other than that, it was torture at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's love and hate at the same time. If it goes smooth, you're going to love it. If it doesn't, you're like, why am I here?
And that is just so relatable, because I have to imagine a lot of people on their first marathons, they say the same thing, like, okay, I did it. I got it done with. It hurts. I don't want to do it again. And then something creeps back in your mind that goes, well, maybe I can try it again. What was it that helped you say, I'm going to do a second one?
You know, I did the New York City Marathon in 2002. I was 27 years old. People always said, you're going to be, when they see me run the track or cross country, they're like, you're going to be a beautiful marathoner. I'm like, how far is that? They're like, 26.2. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But eventually in 2002, I did my first marathon in New York. And what I didn't like about it was just the pain. You know, there's an imaginary wall. Your body says go, but your body says no. And it's a strange feeling, but you're like, move. But you can't really move because you are depleted to the maximum. There's like, all I could put it is when you had a battery dead in a car, you're starting the engine, you're like, start. But it won't start because there's nothing left. The battery's dead. And that's the same thing with a marathon. And your mind says go, your body says, I'm done. And no matter how hard you can try, you can't go any faster. So what I loved about it was when I I went to Eritrea, where I was born in East Africa. I saw how people were working from sunrise to sunset. And I realized that temporary discomfort that I went in the marathon was not a big deal after going back to see people living without electricity and no running water. And I came back motivated to say, hey, coach, I want to do another marathon. He's like, what got into you? I said, I saw how people were living, don't think for granted. And I ended up doing the Chicago Marathon in 2003. And I started really slow, worked my way up. I didn't go for the win. I just went for time. And I improved by 2.5 minutes. And I said, this is fun.
Yeah. And, you know, it's experiences like that really give us perspective. A marathon, it can be hard. A day at work can be hard, whatever situations you're going through. But then you see that and you go, you know what? I can handle this. I can do it. Yeah, it's temporary pain, but there are people who are dealing with a lot more than I am. And you have really an amazing story. Could you share, your family's journey from Eritrea to San Diego and all that you had to go through starting from scratch here in the U.S.?
So yes, I was born in Eritrea. That was in 1961. There was a war that was going on against Ethiopia. My dad was wanted by the Ethiopian soldiers, so he's going to get prison or killed. So my mom kind of encouraged him to escape. So he has to walk over 225 miles from Eritrea, going north to Sudan. And luckily for us, he made it through, but he was leaving behind a wife, 5 kids born, 1 on the way. They promised to each other to name the baby. If it was a boy, Be'emnet. If it's a girl, Amina, which means with belief that if I make it a safe land, I will look after you guys. And fortunately for us, he did. I was 5 years old when he left. I did not see him until I was 10 years old. So he made his way to Italy. And then with Italy, he just got a help from my half sister's mom, Lata Michael, and his boss, Dr. Brindisi, helped him tremendously to with financial. My dad asked him if he can loan him 10 million lire, and that was 6,000 US dollars, 1986.
Wow.
And he said, "Is that to save one person or to save everybody?" And my dad said, "With the money that I have accumulated, I can save everybody." And he said, "Come back on Wednesday." And Dr. Brindisi gave him a 10 million lira cash. And he said, "This is not a loan, it's a gift." That's how we got saved.
Oh, that is incredible. What sacrifices your father made, your whole family made to get you here. But it wasn't easy once you got here because you were starting, you didn't speak English, right? You had to start from the ground up.
I was 10 years old when I first got in the plane. I was by the window. I thought I was going to fall off the window of the plane. It was scary for all of us. It was harder for my mom, who had to raise 6 kids on her own for 5 years. And when we made it to Athens, I ran to my dad and gave him a hug. And he says, Marhawi is my youngest brother by 4 years. And he was mistaking us. And he just says, "No, it's Meb." And he just went to tears because he was expecting me to be muscular, taller, and stronger. But my mom is like, "Don't worry about their height and weight. Just make sure all 6 of them are here." And that was difficult Italian. First time I saw TV, I'm like, how did the people fit in the TV? I went behind the TV to see if the people were there. So it was a lot of wake-up calls from the food, from making friends, from learning language, Italian language. And on October 21st, 1987, we came to the beautiful United States in San Diego, and we have to learn English from scratch. My dad woke us up at 4:30 in the morning before going to 7:30 o'clock class to learn English. There's a dictionary, one word at a time. And we worked hard. And my oldest brother, Futsum, kind of got a most outstanding student in ninth grade, and he got a trophy that I'm going to share here with you. And this one is what he got. It says most outstanding student at Roosevelt Junior High. And my parents placed this trophy on top of the TV before flat screen TVs to be able to say, hey, in America, hard work does pay off. So make sure you follow your brother's footsteps.
Yeah, it is the journeys like that make victories so much sweeter. And we're going to take a quick break here, but we have so much more of your story to get to. So we'll see you in a few minutes. back to Unscripted on Fox 13. We're joined again by Meb Keflezighi, runner extraordinaire, marathoner legend, Olympic medalist. I want to get to that now because Olympics is what everybody is glued to right now, all day, every day. What is it like for you, having been there, done that 4 times, to sit and watch that?
It is an amazing honor to be able to represent your country who gave you the opportunities. And, you got to have your A game at the trials. And if you get solidified top 3, you go to the Olympics. The Olympics are amazing. You go to the opening ceremony, you stay in the village, and, you participate in the event. If you are fortunate enough to be early on, then you can enjoy the whole experience. Right. And if you're going to be at the end, you got to be like, fine line. You don't want to do too much partying or you don't want to do too much other things. Right. To be able to just be focused on what's on the line.
And there we have a picture of you. What do you see when you look at that picture? What do you remember? What do you feel?
That's 20 years ago to this month that I won the silver medal. And that going to that race, I was the 39 out of 100 people. But to be able to bring home the silver medal, to be the first American in 28 years, what a joy. And to be able to see the not national anthem, but our flag risen through the ceremony, it was a dream come true. And that's where I met my dad. First time I met him after 5 years separation. So it was a lot of history there.
What an embrace for the journey that you'd all been on to say, look where we are. Look what we've done together.
I was in 7th grade. A PE teacher said, you're going to be in the Olympics when I was trying to run to get an A and a t-shirt and to actually be in the Olympics 4 times and to win a silver medal. Man, you got to pinch yourself and says, well, he was right.
It takes athletic ability, but it takes heart. If you don't have that, then it's hard to keep doing it. And you have a whole lot of that. You brought your medals, though. This is really exciting. Everybody wants to pick them up, hold them. They're heavy.
They are, and this is the Athens Olympic silver medal from 20 years ago. And the one that you're holding is very heavy. That's the New York City Marathon. And the other one is the Boston Marathon there. And as we talked earlier, to be the first person to ever win the New York City Marathon, Boston Marathon, Olympic silver medal means a lot to me because you set goals and you achieve them. But the Olympics are special. As they're going on right now, there's a lot of heartbreaks, but there's a lot of amazing achievements that I've been glued to with my wife and Fiore, who has also been watching. It's amazing to be able to cheer for your countrymen and other sponsors and things like that. There's a lot of or people you have met on the journey of life.
And looking at this medal from Boston, that one's really special. You won in 2014 and the first American to win Boston in decades, right? And that was also a really emotional day the year after the bombing at the Boston Marathon. Could you tell me what that was like for you?
That was pretty monumental just because what was on the line. I missed the bombing by 5 minutes in 2013. So it was personal, and you want to be able to, somebody asked me, Bonnie Ford asked me, are you going to come back? Are you scared to bring your family? I said, I hope to be healthy enough to win it for the people. So I set that goal on April 15, 2013, and to be able to write the victim's name on my bib, a replica here, and be able to just carry through sense of purpose. I wasn't the favorite to win. In fact, I had less than 1% chance to win, but my heart was in the right place, and the training was not perfect, but really doable and achievable. But at the same time, tactics is very important. I tell my coach and mentor, I said, don't worry, you're not going to see me into the last 5K of the race, but the emotion, the people coming to support, the writing in the streets, the posters, it was inspiring, and I just took off, and luckily for me, they never caught me.
Yeah, and I just remember, I was there covering the event as a reporter for a Fort Myers station, but I remember when the word got around, it was just electric. Meb won, the American won, and everybody was... It was a thrill, for all that was on the line that day, for the broken hearts associated with, what had happened previously. It was just so special.
Haley, I do a lot of meet and greet with my fellow runners, and they can tell me where they were at the Boston Marathon and how it lifted them up. Even though they had a bad race, they said, you know what, winning it just made it extra special. Yes, it was a very special moment, and tears of joy came at the end because you have this goal, this dream to be able to win it and to do it on that day on April 21st, 2014 for the people, for the city. Hopefully I've been a small process in the healing process. Yeah.
Well, finally, we only have a few minutes, unfortunately, left, but I want to fast forward to today, Tampa. We're so lucky to have you here, running out on the streets with you. I always hope I run into you and get to give you a high five, but you moved here a few years ago. Your wife is from here, right? certainly a weather change from San Diego with the humid swamp, but you jumped right into the local community and got started. And I'd love to hear how you incorporated your Meb Foundation into the Tampa area. It's so important for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 daughters, and your daughters just grew up here, and be able to be back here and be part of this community is awesome. And I do run a Bayshore, but the Meb Foundation is maintaining excellent balance through health, education, and fitness for youth, and to be able to just give back the sport that has given so much, because sports unites us. It gives us confidence. It gives us the ability that are achievable. You know, so those are the monumental things that I want to help kids. You know, we have given some scholarships, and some kids, they just need motivation to come and tell them and show them my medal, and they get able to touch this. Wow, this is actually real. This is heavy. It's tangible. They can touch it and see it. Not everybody can be an Olympian or Boston, New York City champion, but they can be the best version of themselves. I always say, run to win. It doesn't necessarily mean getting first place, but getting the best out of yourself. And we can do that at all levels, the youth level, to empower the kids, to empower the parents, to eat healthy, be strong, and we bring them the best of themselves.
Right, that's right. If you know you gave it your all, it doesn't matter if you finished first, you finished last, you finished in the middle, or you had a terrible time. You know in your heart you left it all out there, and you can sleep well at night. And that's all we can hope for. All right, so we just have a few seconds left. Meb Keflezighi joining us today. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully I'll see you around on Bayshore.
That'd be great. Great to be with you.
And thanks for watching.